What is up, Sagittarius? Welcome to your general love reading. This is for Sag, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter placements. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. My name's Jordyn. I'm a master Reiki practitioner and tarot reader. So let's get into it. We're going to be using Witch's Tarot today and Spellcasters for the clarifiers, and all tarot decks are listed down below in the description box along with my website. So check it all out. Let's see what we got for you, Sag, in regards to love and romance. For Sagittarius, Spirit. First person over here. For Sag, please. Ten of Swords and the Hierophant in reverse. Okay, so we're definitely dealing with the separation, an end of a cycle. That solar eclipse on April 30th was the end of a 19-year karmic cycle. So if you've been having a lot of shakeups in your relationships at this time, dang, and Death in reverse and the Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah, lots of cyclic energy, lots of endings going on here. But this had to happen because you're closing out really big karmic cycles. Ooh, this is nice. Okay, and this one wanted to flip around. Okay, so then we have the King of Pentacles, the Star, the Nine of Wands, and the Two of Swords. We have an energy over here that's very determined to be grounded, determined to be committed, determined to be aligned with what is of their highest good. Their heart space is still closed. This feels very practical, very, very practical. Let's see the currents. This feels very stubborn, very guarded, just sitting in pain, really. The current situation is the Two of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the Chariot. Okay. And let's get the obstacle for the relationship. Empress in reverse, the Tower, and the Six of Swords in reverse. Okay, yeah. So the challenge for this relationship is to be in the feminine energy, to be receptive to one another, right? So we have the very distorted feminine, which is not willing to give or receive over here because they're sitting in the end of a contract, right? They're probably sitting in a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, not being able to have compassion for themselves or the other person and see that two people were most likely hurting in this situation, right? And then we have the masculine who's trying really, really hard to be, and remember, masculine and feminine is not gender, it's energy. I'm masculine when I move in the world, and in my chart, I'm overall feminine. You can flow in and out of masculine and feminine. It's not your gender. So if you're struggling to understand that, I have a video in the description box that talks about it, okay? But with the King of Pentacles and the Star and the Nine of Wands, they're very determined to stay aligned, to stay in their most authentic self. But right now, their heart space is closed as well. Overall, very, very divine connection. Both people need to become individuals again, though, to mesh with one another. The Chariot, there's going to be a shift, a new direction for this relationship because of the separation, because it's forcing both people to realize that they need to connect with the higher heart, having compassion, empathy, to be present, to be vulnerable, to be honest with one another. And that's what leads them out of the Five of Swords to the Six, right? Because the Six in reverse tells me that they're stuck in conflict. They're stuck in arguing, fighting, a sense of betrayal. And the Six of Swords is moving out of that. So let's clarify. Let's look at this Ten of Swords over here and the Hierophant in reverse. Nine of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so this individual is struggling to find their own personal happiness at this time because the ending of this contract, the ending of the cycle, and there's Death and the Tower. Yeah, so they're going to go through a massive shift in their own life. They could move, they could change, I almost said change residence. So they're most likely probably going to go through a move, and this could be the home, this could be work, this could be anything. So just be mindful if there's a lot shifting around you at this time. It's most likely because this was a catalyst for a big internal change energetically, and you're going to attract a lot of new things. Okay, so this queen's very unsure of what's to come right now because with Death in reverse, this represents that spiritual energetic shift. It's the rebirth. They're shedding an old way of being. This feels, I don't want to say lost. It's just that they're not familiar with their new self quite yet. So if you're spreading, night energy. I'm not a big fan of a lot of night energy when it comes to transformations. Night energy is very scattered. So if you find yourself investing in a lot of projects at this time, trying to figure out what you most want, try to hone in on one or two things that you really, really enjoy. right? And take it slow and allow yourself to nurture it and treat it like it's kind of a plant and give it time to grow. Because this is someone who's more so investing in a lot of things, trying to find like their happiness and their purpose, but really it's going to come from within. It's not going to come from spreading yourself thin and being this Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands, and well, I'm going to go to the gym and a pottery class and a yoga class and start a business and do this and do that and all these different things. Because really what they're struggling to do is find one thing that they're wanting to be loyal to. And then what they need to be loyal to is themselves. So you might just need to simply take some time to sit with yourself and allow yourself to feel everything you're feeling. Because the Queen of Wands, this tells me that you're kind of pissed off. Like, really pissed off. Like, you want to maybe break things pissed off. Okay? Just saying. Let's look at the King of Pentacles. And anger is a secondary emotion. It's not a primary emotion. So most likely that's rooted in disappointment, hurt, pain, rejection, abandonment. So just sit with yourself and figure out what it is that really has you angry, because it's not truly anger. It's another emotion. Anger is just what we use to protect ourselves from feeling this something else that makes us feel more vulnerable. Yeah, King of Wands in reverse, you're a true pair too. So no wonder it's very painful. You're a true pair. King of Pentacles, they're in denial as well. You're mirroring each other very much so. They want the new opportunity. There's a lot of attraction in this relationship too. They're hoping to have a new foundation. They're hoping to rebuild. They just don't know when or how to take the action on this. Let's look at the Star and the Nine of Wands. Chariot. It's all going to unfold when the divine most wants it to, but both people need to not be so enmeshed with one another. Energetically, you're still really tied. And so this divide, the separation is going to continue until you figure out ways to wake up each day and say, you know what, today's for me. Today, I'm going to have a great day as an individual. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to open up all the windows. I'm going to do things that make me feel alive. I'm going to get dressed how I want to get dressed. And I'm going to feel great about myself. And I wish them the best, but I'm not going to allow my mental space to go to them. I'm going to give my mental space to things that I love. I'm going to dance around the house. I'm going to take my dog on a walk. I'm going to go to the park. Or, you know, it's time to rediscover the things that make you feel alive as a human being, as an individual. Two of Swords. Emperor in reverse and the Knight of Cups. They have a tendency to really want to control situations when they're feeling disconnected. Like they really want to constrict things because it makes them feel more safe. So if they are not sure how they feel, they want to control other things because then they're like, oh, see, now I feel better because I know where this is going, what that person's doing, and I know how it's going to affect my life. But they can't control other people. They can't control other things. And that's something that this individual struggles with because they also struggle with opening up about how they feel and understanding how they feel. So that's kind of like the need to mature a bit more emotionally. Let's look at the Two of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles together. That was quick. Yeah, Two of Cups in reverse. The Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Six of Wands. Okay. Very strong connection. Nobody's working on it. Nobody's working on it. There's a lot of butting of heads here, and honestly, it's most likely rooted in both people wanting to control the other person or having expectations, or, well, they should have handled this situation this way, which is more so a distorted way of saying you expected them to handle it this way, or they expected you to handle it this way. Just because you expected them to do something or they expected you to do something doesn't mean that they are going to do it that way. And that's okay. It's just a form of communicating that and saying, hey, I kind of expected this, and can you explain to me like why you did it this way? It doesn't make it right or wrong, but it will help you understand why each other thinks the way that you think, and it will help the relationship. But it's time to have those difficult conversations if you do want the relationship to work. Ace of Swords and the Six of Wands in reverse. Ace of Swords, it's just time to be honest. The Six of Wands, it's like you both are wanting recognition. Well, I try here and you don't. It's the pointing fingers. Each person wants recognition for their efforts. Each person wants recognition and the love and the care and validation from the other person, and they feel that they're not getting it. But it's a two-way, you're mirroring each other. You both want the same thing. You both want the relationship. You both want the other to understand. You both want to feel heard. But that means both of you need to humble yourselves, and both of you need to be willing to try equally, and both of you need to be willing to forgive. Yep. Page of Swords in reverse. Two of Swords, Magician, Ten of Cups. Oh, Malanta. Nine of Pentacles. Oh, I'm single and I'm happy to be single and I'm ready to move in a new direction. It's a load of shit. It's a lie. It's a lie because you're lying to yourself. Page of Swords in reverse is a liar. Your heart space is just closed and you're distorted masculine energy and you're manifesting the ending of this relationship even though there's a lot of love here. It's a distorted love because it's a very controlling ego-based love. And that's why there's a need to tap into the feminine. This relationship is going to challenge you to do a lot of healing, both of you, because you're both doing the same thing. It's going to challenge you to learn to be more loving, to be more vulnerable, to be more honest, to communicate better. And if you're like, well, I communicate fine, this relationship is going to show you the parts of you that could communicate potentially a little bit better. And that's okay. That's okay. Let's look at the Empress. Empress! Validation for me as a reader that the channel message is correct. Yep. It's just going to help you tap into healthy feminine energy, learning to be receptive, learning not to be controlling, learning to be loving, to be compassionate, to allow everything to flow. Like, I'm going to allow you to do what you want. Go ahead, do what you want. And I'm going to do what I want. And I'll see you when I see you. And we can have sex when we want to have sex. And we can go on dates when we want to have good dates, you know. And like, if you want to go hang with your friends, go hang with your friends. And like, learning to trust and have faith and be vulnerable and being in healthy, like being confident in self and confident in partner. Yeah. Yep. Let's look at the Tower. This is going to be a really, really big shift. It is. I'm just going to tell you that. And it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be really, really worth it. It is, because working through it in this relationship is going to allow your other relationships to flourish too. And if you don't work through it in this relationship, you're going to go through it again with your next relationship. So you can either do it now or you do it again in the future. So, just saying. Two of Wands, Eight of Cups in reverse. You're going to be able to go back to this relationship because you're still tied to it. You're still tied to one another. You both want it. The Eight of Cups is the U-turn card. It's just you're going through an awakening together, sudden realizations. The Six of Swords is the Hierophant in reverse, the Sun, the Hermit, and the Three of Cups. This cannot move forward right now because it had to fall apart. The contract, the old rule book, the expectations you had of each other had to fall away. You both need to go through a sudden realization. The Sun, a new shift in consciousness, an awakening. The Sun is a higher state of consciousness. It's a new frequency. And the Hermit is the time alone. You need to be alone. You need to reflect on the relationship, on yourselves, on what baggage you brought to the table, on what you learned from your childhood, your past romantic relationships, your past friendships, on what patterns you see and dynamics you keep repeating, and how this relationship triggered that. And then you can eventually come back together, but not right now. Queen of Wands. The stubborn one, whether this is you or your person, this one feels very resistant to wanting to look at themselves, to be honest. And eventually they're going to move forward and they're going to realize that they've had a lot of faulty foundations, but I feel like they're going to have the biggest struggle going into this hangman, the surrender of like, okay, I really do need to look at myself. So just be honest with yourself. That's not always the easiest thing. Guilty as charged, right? Because we're all human. But that is the process of alchemy. That's the process of integrating the ego. And it's just, that's how you get to learn yourself. And that's how oh my gosh, like I did have a friend that mirrored my romantic relationship, and oh, I did do that, and oh, I do have runner tendencies, or I do XYZ, right? Or I don't set healthy boundaries, or if I do set a boundary, I do find it uncomfortable, or blah, 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 blah. Even think about how you act with your parents to this day, right? But Sag, this is what I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you want a personal reading or a Reiki session, you want to become a Reiki practitioner, or you want to be part of the tarot course that we're holding in a few weeks, go ahead, check it out. It's all on my website. Give this video a thumbs up. It does help the channel grow, and I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope I see you on our Patreon family too. I'll see you next time.